Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of For Expedition Unplugged. I'm Scott Luthel. Well, today we're going to talk about authenticity. Over the last several weeks, we talked about a number of different subjects, including integrity and honor, persistence and perseverance, legacy. Now we're going to talk about authenticity. And the reason we're going to talk about authenticity is because you really can't pursue a life that you truly want without living your truth, without truly living an authentic life. So let's talk about this thing, authenticity. So for those of you who are not really familiar with authenticity, let's just give you a few examples in the physical world. So we'll use myself as an example. All right, so let's just say, for instance, I wanted to see fall colors, the changing of the leaves. If I was going to do so in a truly authentic way, I would find a place, let's say Vermont or Wisconsin, where I just came from for my mom's 80th birthday, and I would experience the fall colors in a place like that, because that's where nature expresses itself most authentically in the realm of fall colors. And that would be me experiencing the fall colors in a truly authentic way. If, for instance, I wanted to have a truly authentic Christmas or holiday season, the way I was brought up to believe the holiday was meant to be spent, I would do so in a small cabin in the woods where I would decorate a tree outside or in my home with homemade decor, and I would make a delicious, warm, home-cooked meal and sing songs by a piano. This is the kind of authentic holiday spirit experience that I would probably lean toward, which is how it's exactly why I spent my Christmas here this past year the way I did. Those are examples of authenticity in the physical world, or how you can express yourself authentically or have authentic experiences. But let's just talk for a minute about authenticity with regard to your beliefs, with the things you say, and these all tie in with integrity and honor, the way we talked about in the first episode of Unplugged with regard to this kind of a commentary. You know, all too often we find ourselves from day to day stuck in a rut or living an inauthentic experience. So, for example, maybe you go to a job every day that you don't like, or let's say you're in a relationship with somebody who you don't truly believe you're meant to be with, or let's say your child wants to spend some time with you and go throw a ball, or wants to spend some time with you painting, finger painting or something, and you don't want to be doing it, but you do it anyway. Or let's say you go to church and you sing the songs and you pray the prayers, but you don't truly believe what it is you're singing and talking about. So these are all ways where you might be living an inauthentic experience. And if you truly want to live a life with meaning and purpose, with integrity and honor, you've got to truly live an authentic life. You have to shed all of these disguises, if you will. Otherwise, you're just kind of living a lie. And you can't really truly allow the universe to flow through you and bring you the things that you truly want if you're not living a truly authentic life. So I've had experiences in my past, for sure, where I wasn't living authentically. And trust me, I understand, and I am no stranger to the difficulties that sometimes it takes to make a shift to truly live authentically. And sometimes you think to yourself, well, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to stir the waters. I don't want to hurt people or seemingly hurt people. Remember, you have to truly live an authentic life and be the real you and live your truth. So long as, of course, you're living with integrity, you're not harming or hurting other people physically. But you have to understand that sometimes, and this is something that I had to learn early on in my life, there were times in my life when I didn't make a shift that I needed to make because I was concerned about hurting other people, changing other people's lives. And for example, it might be in a relationship that I was in that I didn't truly believe I was supposed to be in any longer. And it might have taken years before I was able to muster up the courage to make a real true shift and free myself from the shackles that I'd put myself in. And that is exactly what it is. So, sometimes people talk about heaven and hell. I believe that we create our own hell right here on earth. I think when we're not living authentically, when we're making decisions that aren't well thought out before we make them, when we put ourselves into situations where we have, where we might succumb to physical or emotional harm, these are all ways where we develop sort of our own personal private hell. We create shackles for ourselves where we're not able to be free and we're not able to flow in and out with the universe. And so if I'm sharing this with you and you're thinking in the back of your mind, oh my gosh, that is totally me. Oh my gosh, I've got this thing in the back of my mind. It's just way back in there, and it's always there, and it's always bothering me. It's a truth that I need to face, and I need to sort of acknowledge and maybe make a shift in order to be able to live my life in such a way. Well, there's no better time than the present. As I mentioned in my last couple of videos, my pops died at age 56. I'm 53. Imagine, if you will, I've got 3 more years to live. Well, how do I want to live those years? Do I want to live those years living a truly authentic life and living with my truth and having integrity and honor for the things I truly believe in? Well, again, there's no better time than the present. We hear all the time that we could die tomorrow, so we should live every day for today, but we don't. None of us, many of us don't. We go to work every day. I get this all the time. People commenting on my channel saying, yeah, I'm going to go there. I'm putting that on my bucket list for someday. When I retire, someday. Well, my dad had that perspective as well. When I retire. Well, he never retired. He died before that happened. I know many people who have plans for themselves later in life and never get to those plans because things happen. Physical ailments come about, freak accidents happen. Other people that we're in relationships with maybe make a shift for themselves, which completely changes your life. I've had that happen to me. I've had, just so you know, I've been married 3 times, and 3rd time's a charm. I am totally and happily and madly in love with my wife, but I've been married before, and the first time I left my partner, and the second time my partner left me. So I got to experience both sides of that experience. I was able to unshackle myself and find freedom the way that I had believed I should. And then in the second experience, I was kind of blindsided, and boom, there you go. My life was changed, and it was devastating. So I understand what it can feel like on both sides of that equation. It doesn't matter. You have to truly live an authentic life. If you're not living an authentic life, well, then what's the purpose of living? So when we talk about authenticity, we have to talk about the aspect of commitment. All too often, I see people sitting on the fence, walking a line, and not fully committing to themselves, to others, to their job, or to a decision that they've made. And if in the back of your mind you know that you're not making a full commitment, well, then you have to realize that you're also not living your truth. You're not living authentically. So for instance, let's say you go to your job, and instead of diving into your work and pursuing advancement and being excited when you do make advancement, well, then you're probably not living authentically. You're not going to a job that you love. You're not living your truth. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue to live that lie, or are you going to move on and find something that truly matters to you that makes you want to get up in the morning and get out the door and go accomplish something. If you're not making a full commitment to your partner, let's say you're dating someone and you're not helping make decisions that have to do with a direction for the future, or you're not willing to, make a commitment to a specific date for something, whether it be getting engaged or getting married or, whatever it is, whatever it is in your relationship that you're not committing to, then you have to stop and look at that. Are you in the right relationship? Are you holding back for some reason, that isn't giving to your partner your true self? If this is the case, then again, you're not living authentically. Oftentimes, we make decisions to go down a particular path, but we're not fully committed to walking that path. And if you're not fully committed to walking your path, then what direction are you going? You're just walking aimlessly. You are ready and poised to be distracted from your path at any moment. And that's, I've been down that road. I've had experiences in my life where I made a decision, I was going down that path, and I was charging down a particular path, but then I started to second guess, and I realized, this might not be the right path for me. Well, if you just keep walking it, then you're just wasting time. You have to make a correction the moment you realize that you're not living your truth. If you're not living your truth, well, then you're not living with integrity and you're not honoring your true self. It's simple as that. I've had businesses before with other people where I wasn't the sole owner or the sole founder. I had co-founders. And I remember on a number of occasions, I was working my butt off, or maybe myself and one of the other co-founders was working their butts off on pushing things forward. And yet we were in a business relationship with maybe a partner who wasn't fully committed. And so they were off doing other things. They were pursuing other businesses. They were not willing to leave a job that they had in order to dive into this business that we decided to put on together. And that just created turmoil within the business. And until myself and the co-founder, for instance, that was working their butt off like I was, until we made a decision to shed that other person, we were also kind of living a lie, because we weren't being truly authentic with our feelings and our emotions and our beliefs about what needed to happen with the business. So we were just basically carrying along this person that wasn't fully committed and wasn't doing nearly as much work as we were. So when we finally shed that person, that's when we finally started to realize our vision for what it was that we were trying to create. If you're in a position where you have made a decision to partner with somebody on something, a project, a business, what have you, and you're not fully committed, you're not willing to dive into it, you're not willing to drop everything else and put yourself into that wholeheartedly and commit yourself and commit to the business and to your business partners, well, again, you're not living authentically. You've got to look at all these things. And if you really want to have a life where you can have everything you want, you have to live authentically. You have to have integrity for the things you say and for the things that you do in association with your beliefs. You've got to honor the path that you choose. And you have to be persistent in driving forward. And the only way you can be persistent and have integrity and honor for that pathway is to be truly authentic. We are here to be creators, conscious creators. And if you truly want to create the life of your dreams, you have to align with all of these things that I've been talking about over the last several weeks. And it's very difficult sometimes to come to terms with the fact that you're not living with integrity. You're not honoring your path. You're not driven. You're not driving down a path with persistence. If you're not doing all those things, you're not going to be able to create a legacy for yourself and make a mark on the world and leave an impression on people around you that you want to leave. If you have any questions about this thing, authenticity, I'm more than happy to help and talk with anybody that wants to chat. Just leave a comment down below. Or if it's more personal in nature, you can fill out the contact form on forexpedition.com, and I'll be happy to respond to you as soon as I possibly can. Thank you for your time.